Welcome back to the vlog. We are sitting in my car. Can you hear us at all? Or do you just hear the rain? As Hilary Duff would say.
What? Oh, let the rain fall down. And wake my dreams. So, no, you sing it. You do better.
Woo! My car battery died. Friday I noticed it. Today is Monday. And 𝗵𝗄𝐴 came out. And now I have to sit in my car while it's running for 45 minutes. So it doesn't die again. The battery's fine. It only died because I lost the stickers, my registration stickers. Then you broke your hand.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. And so I didn't drive my car for 2 weeks and it died. But we're good now.
Yeah. Really? I'm gonna get back inside.
Okay.
I love you.
How long have I been out here?
You've been out here 22 minutes until 12:55.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let me know if you need anything.
Okay. Hi, hello, future Meghan popping in here to tell you two things. One, I look great. And two, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which I am so excited about. We have to head on over to the fridge for this. See, I don't know if I can do one of those interior fridge shots because it is so messy. If you've ever wondered what ADHD is like in a fridge, yike-a-roonies. Do you see those pickles that definitely expired in 2017? Step aside, step aside. Oh. May I introduce you to today's sponsor and my obsession over the last couple of months, Aurobora. Also, can we talk about the name? Aurobora. Aurobora, Aurobora, Aurobora. These are sparkling waters that are made with herbs, fruits, and flowers, and they taste so good. None of that someone burps in the next room over and that's the level of flavor that you get. These actually have flavor in them. They're zero sugar, they are non-GMO, and what I love the most about them is not obviously just that they taste really good, but they also donate 1% of all of their annual income to help the environment. We know it needs some help. World's biggest flip. Get HGTV on this. Do you think that was in the pitch meeting when people were like, should we move to Mars? Well, we've seen this show, love it or list it. Now let's talk about the flavors. We've got Cactus Rose. Tell me that doesn't sound like Orlando Bloom's baby name. I don't know what Orlando Bloom's baby name is, but I feel like it would be Cactus Rose. Then we have Peppermint Watermelon. This one is so good. I think this one is my favorite can. It's so cute. This is the Lavender Cucumber one and the Lemongrass Coconut. Now, I don't drink alcohol, but I feel like if you did, this would be very good with some alcohol. And finally, my absolute favorite flavor. This is the basil berry flavor, and I cannot stress enough how good the branding and the aesthetic is. If you've never tried Aurobora before, they are offering a free sampler pack. You just have to click my link down below, and all you have to do is pay $5 shipping. They are delicious. Now I will drink this while I edit this video that you're currently watching. Cheers! While we're here, let's answer some questions. I wanted to include a Q&A in this vlog. I had originally planned on doing it not in this capacity, but I have time to kill. Have you ever considered getting off spironolactone in favor of those naturopath acne stuff? No. No. I hate naturopaths. I do. I don't care if that offends you. You'd be hard pressed to meet someone who is chronically ill and deals with things like that, who is all about that stuff. And also the vast majority of people try absolutely everything before they land on like the treatment that works for them. I'm not even on spironolactone currently because after getting COVID, one of the few things I can eat without giving me like the absolute ick is bananas, and that's high in potassium, and so is spironolactone. You can't have too much potassium, so I'm not on it currently. Let's normalize assuming that people who are on medications have tried every natural option before landing where they are. Just assume that, because we all have. Any advice on body image? It's a bitch. My vision isn't that great unless I'm wearing my glasses, and so I just don't look in a lot of mirrors, and I just try to ignore my body in the hopes of being body neutral. Despite what I think my own body looks like or how I feel about my own body, I have immense privilege in my body and the outward appearance of it. The body positivity movement is to regain respect and empower for people who the world truly puts at like a disadvantage and like socially, like economically, like everything based on like what they look like. And so that is not like a movement for me, but body neutrality has been really helpful. And like, I don't know if this is like right, just not thinking about it, just doing everything in my power. And then the second that I'm thinking about my body, I essentially tell them, I'm like, shut up, shut the fuck up, do something else, move on, watch a TikTok, stop, shut up.
See, my inside out brain would just be so many different things yelling at each other.
I'm editing this video right now and I realized that I didn't mention the thing that the thing I know has been the most impactful and helpful for me. It is a podcast called Maintenance Phase. It really unpacks diet culture, fat phobia, and just all of these things have filtered themselves into our society and ingrained themselves so deeply that we don't even recognize all of those things. It is everywhere in your life. And until I had that podcast, I didn't know. And you can't unlearn something if you don't know what you're unlearning.
Do you feel differently being engaged? That's a good question. I don't know, maybe kind of, sort of. As much as it being kind of an arbitrary step, it does feel like a step, and I'm someone who really likes to have markers in my life. I like some semblance of a routine, but I get really bored easily, and I don't like a Groundhog Day kind of thing where it just feels like the same day over and over and over again. So I really love looking forward to things, whether that's like a vacation, like a trip, an event, a birthday. Getting engaged is like a life event that has been one of those markers, and that's just something that I personally really enjoy. And I see my life in terms of not like rebrands, you know, people are saying that like I'm going through a personal rebrand, but like these eras of my life, and I feel like I've entered into like the engaged era, which is also simultaneous, like it's coinciding with the buying a house. So it feels, I don't know, it feels like exciting and like lots of new opportunity, you know? What's your ADHD diagnosis story? So many girls / women seem to not get diagnosed until later in life. That is true. That's very common. I was diagnosed when I was in 7th grade, I think. I had a teacher who had ADHD, and I had like all of the markers like leading up to that, but he had ADHD, and so he immediately noticed that and like looked at my old transcripts and saw like a disruptance in class, like very talkative. And because my ADHD now, but as a kid also really presented with more like typical diagnosis, which is have they diagnosed little boys, and that's why so many girls slip through the cracks. That was like really just lucky because he has like male presenting ADHD, and so did I. So I got like a school kind of testing. I don't like fully remember all of it, but I wasn't treated until I was in my 20s. There were people in my life who very much didn't want to hear that I had ADHD, and were like, no, that's not true, you've read a book. When I went to my first psychiatrist, then it was a horribly traumatizing experience. If you have ever done mental health at Kaiser, you might know. I struggled with school. I struggled with my grades. I was good in some things that were much more creative, and teachers who were much more like lenient, and projects that I actually liked. But if I didn't like something, I couldn't do it and I couldn't understand it. So I really struggled in school. And then when I dropped out of college and I was doing YouTube, you know, you can hyper focus on things. You can't choose what you hyper focus on, but I don't know. I was kind of like using, I hate like, ADHD is a superpower. But I was like, you know, I was managing, and it just got to a point where I couldn't manage it. And so I went to a psychiatrist, and I was talking to him about this, about how, yeah, I was diagnosed when I was a kid. Like, I'm happy to do another like diagnostic test. And then he flirted with me. He told me that I was bipolar and I was having unprotected sex with random strangers, and I was spending thousands of dollars on my credit card and racking all of this up, and I like wasn't sleeping, and I was like having manic episodes. And I was like, I didn't know. He's like, no, now I think you're lying to me. I think that's what you're going through right now. I said none of those things. Like, none of those things are true. You asked me if I had trouble sleeping, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not the greatest sleeper. But that's it. I'm not doing any of those things. I kept trying to tell him. I was like, I'm not. I haven't had sex in over a year. And he was like, no, you know, people lie. You're bipolar. I'm writing you a prescription for like Ambien or some other like sleeping pill. I forget what else. A couple, like 3 or 4 other medications. And I walked out in there, and I was like, what just happened? After that, I was scarred, and I didn't want to see a therapist for a really long time. Oh, he also like asked me about my life, and I was like talking about it, and he just like accused me of lying about everything. I was like, who are you? All the while simultaneously flirting with me and telling me I was like very pretty. That was like my first instance of going to like a mental health professional, not just like my primary care physician, or having them like bring someone in during like a primary care checkup or something like that. I went to a psychiatrist that Lily gave me a reference for, and that is like still my psychiatrist to this day. But that was my ADHD journey. So I've been on medication since I was 21, I think. And I could not function without it. What time did Mott say I could leave? Am I done? She's done.
It is almost 4 p.m. now. I was going to try and put on a little bit of makeup because I just got sent this from IT Cosmetics, CC Nude Glow Color Correcting Medium Coverage Skin Tint. Okay, I actually think that's a really good match color-wise. This is fair. I'm just gonna use my fingers at first. That is pretty. That's like a very, very, very light amount of coverage. So let's see if I can layer a bit more on. We're gonna do this on the ground. Can you tell? It's really nice. I guess I can grab the questions that I didn't finish answering in the car and keep on that Q&A trend. How soon is too soon to say I love you? I am a firm believer in when you are telling someone that you love them, it's not for reciprocation and it's not because you're expecting to hear it back or you need to hear it back and it's contingent on if you hear it back. You should tell someone you love them because it's appropriate too. I do not think that like if you are in love with your best friend's boyfriend or like partner, you should tell them. No, keep that to yourself, bury that, shut that down, take some space, get over it. When I was single, I was very much emotionally cut off. My attachment style was get away from me. I really respected the fact that like Mott's tried to say it a couple of times but would suss out the situation to see if I was ready to hear that and I wasn't, and so I really respected that. So I would have run if someone told me they loved me before 6 months to a year. But that's just me personally. This eyebrow gel, this is the 24-hour brow setter. I've got really coarse and thick eyebrows. No, eyebrow hairs. My eyebrows are not thick. I do not do anything to them. I do not wax them. I do not tweeze them. I never have. This is all they grow. That's it. This is the only part that grows. And so I just brush them up, but this actually stays. And that will stay like all day. Can you hear the rain again? So it's kind of the look of laminating brows, but without doing that. I would definitely be interested in trying it at some point. I know a lot of people do it at home. My eyebrows are long, so I know that I would need to trim them, and that terrifies me. Cute, easy. What is your definition of a happy marriage versus an average one? I have no idea. The one I was surrounded with as a child was neither of those. What's your opinion on you can't love other people until you love yourself? I think it's bullshit. It implies that like loving yourself is a destination and an attainable one at that for absolutely everybody. But if you deal with depression or you deal with any other mental health things, it goes in waves. You don't have to unconditionally love yourself every single day. And I think that concept, at least to me, when I would hear that when I was younger, I was like, well, then I'm never gonna be in love because that's not gonna happen. And I think that it's something that happens with time where, again, it's not necessarily like you blanket statement love yourself, but you learn how to be with yourself through like the highs and the lows. And I don't think that you need to do that alone. Like, I'm not for like unhealthy codependent relationships, but I think when we make this thing a destination, when it's not, then a lot of people are just gonna feel like they're not worthy of love because they struggle with self-worth. And it just feels like ableist, you know? Think about like your negative self-talk that you have. And like one of the things that, you know, therapists will say is like, well, would you say this thing to somebody else? And you're like, no, of course not. So I don't know why we think that how we view ourselves, and if we don't love ourselves, we're incapable of loving other people. Because that's not true. Do you have a Pinterest board for your wedding, and what are some of your ideas? I do. I will include some of the photos here. See, this is the issue. My taste, expensive. My wallet, not wanting to pay for that. Will you be sharing the wedding planning process? I know you said after you move, but I'm so excited. Yes, whatever we end up doing, I will share the planning of it all, but it's just TBD what we're gonna do. What is your least favorite wedding tradition? I think that bridesmaids are a scam. I think it's so much effort on both ends, and it is just, it's unnecessary. I just think it's unnecessary. Like, have your friends show up in like the similar cute dresses if you want to take pictures with them. If you want them to stand up there, like totally go for it. Maybe an unpopular opinion. I also don't love the whole like giving away thing. Party favors. I wish you didn't have to serve food at a wedding because wedding food is always just not good because there's too many people for the food to actually be good. I think cake is useless. No one really ever eats the cake. The Ed Sheeranification of weddings, you know? It's just a lot. Biggest piece of financial advice. Build your friendships around events and your relationship around events and activities that don't cost money. When your social life is reliant on you spending money, that makes you have to choose between having friends, having a relationship, and being social, and saving money and making good financial decisions. And you also might end up being friends with people who you don't really like all that much, but it's just like convenience based, or you like the same restaurants, or you like to party together and all of that. Advice you'd give your younger self. Oh, I don't know. Younger Meghan was truly just doing the best that she could. Something my therapist told me that was actually helpful, like when, you know, reflecting back onto my younger self, the coping mechanisms I had, even if they were unhealthy, were serving a purpose, and they were still coping mechanisms. I was doing my best, and I was coping with the toolbox and what I had. So part of me wants to give my younger self advice of stop drinking sooner. It's really, really hard to look back at like little version of me and be like, you should have been able to handle these things in a way that was less detrimental and like healthier. But it's why so many people start going to therapy at 25, because your brain's not fully developed. So when you go through stuff before that age, it's unrealistic for us to think that the way we handle and cope with trauma and things is going to be productive and healthy. Did you ever get the meeting with YouTube post hacking that was delayed by COVID? No. And my contact at YouTube left. So, what is your dream home decor? I want a house that is nice but not precious. Furniture that you don't feel like you can't just lounge and chill on. So definitely a lot more color than we have now. Desperately need to wash my hair. Before I forget, I listed some stuff on my Depop. I'm gonna do more and more and more and more. So I will link it down below now so you can see what's there. So I think that is going to be it for this vlog. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate hearing from all of you in the last vlog that you do like these like singular one day kind of vlogs as opposed to just doing weekly vlogs. I will definitely still do weekly vlogs when I, you know, want to.